Hi everyone, Hungry Reader here. So, how long do you think it was between the release of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz and L. Frank Baum's next big fantasy book? How about a month? It was merely a month afterward, in the year 1900, that he released his new book, A New Wonderland. Not the most original title, but, well, I bought all the new Super Mario Bros. Games, so... A New Wonderland passed into obscurity very quickly as The Wonderful Wizard of Oz took center stage. A few years afterward, it was re-illustrated, republished, and given a new name. The Magical Monarch of Mo. Yeah, you get it? Wonderful Wizard, Magical Monarch. Kind of a Mario and Wario thing going on.
It makes you get your freak on!
The Magical Monarch of Mo is very different from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. For one thing, it's not a full novel, it's actually 14 short stories. Also, despite the title, it's not necessarily about the monarch. There's no real main character. The Land of Mo, on the other hand, is very similar to the Land of Oz, and in some ways a lot better. Actually, in a lot of ways, the Land of Mo reminds me of the Land of Xanth. Just about anything you could ever need in the Land of Mo grows on trees. You need an engagement ring? Here's an engagement ring tree. Oh, you need new shoes? Hey, here's a shoe tree. Are you making bad decisions? Here's a logic tree. Sorry, that's another way that Mo is a little more like Xanth. It is full of puns, way more than Oz ever had. It's full of characters like the Duchess Bread and Butter and the Giant Hearty Laugh. Mo also seems to have much more cartoon logic going on than Oz does. Characters are routinely flattened, decapitated, chopped into pieces, and run through a grinder and made into mincemeat. This doesn't mean the Land of Mo is more dangerous to live in Oz, because you might recall that the rule in Oz is that only evil people can die. In the Land of Mo, nobody dies, never. This makes for trouble with characters like the wicked purple dragon, who they can't seem to do anything about. So instead they try to pull the dragon's teeth, but they end up stretching the dragon so thin that they can cut him up for violin strings. It's really too bad that Mr. Baum died just 3 years before the first Mickey Mouse cartoon. I think he missed his calling. He should have written for cartoons. The Land of Mo also has lots of monsters. I'll only relate one story, but it's one of the best ones and has one of Baum's best monsters. The story The Bravery of Prince Jollikin deals with a terrible monster that grew in the rock candy mountains around Mo. Oh yeah, everything in Mo is edible. I forgot to mention that. I mean, the rocks are candy, the snow is popcorn, the beach is sugar, and the trees, well, the trees are just trees, but maybe they're gingerbread. I forgot to look. Anyway, born in one of these mountains was the evil Gigaboo. Or maybe it's Jijaboo. I'm not sure. This is another one of those things that could be a very rude word, but I'm not going to pronounce it that way. For fear you may not know what a gigaboo is, I shall describe this one. Its body was round like that of a turtle, and on its back was a thick shell. From the center of the body rose a long neck, much like that of a goose, with a most horrible-looking head perched on the top of it. This head was round as a ball, and had 4 mouths on the side of it, and 7 eyes set in a circle and projecting several inches from the head. The Gigaboo walked on 10 short but thick legs, and in front of its body were 2 long arms tipped with claws like those of a lobster. So sharp and strong were these claws that the creature could pinch a tree in 2 easily. Cool! Why didn't Harryhausen make a Magical Monarch of Mo movie? A brave son of the monarch named Prince Jollikin vows to go kill the Gigaboo. Because people don't die in Mo, but animals can, and the Gigaboo is apparently considered a beast. He picks a sharp sword from a sword tree and goes off to chop off its head, but those nippers, they cut him to bits. Prince Jollikin gets completely dismembered and his pieces are scattered. Remember that Transformers episode, City of Steel? Never mind. But undaunted, he perches his head atop his legs and goes off searching for the rest of him, and puts himself back together. Then he sneaks up on the Gigaboo and chops its head off just as it's reaching its head up to eat a cranberry tart off a tree. One last thing that's really interesting about the Land of Mo is how much of it kind of got recycled for the Land of Oz, in one way or another. For one thing, there's a story of a cast iron man who could be considered a prototype for TikTok, except he's 100 feet tall, so he's more like a TikTok kaiju. A more direct transplant to Oz was the sorceress Mayetta. The Broadway play known as The Wogglebug, which was based on The Marvelous Land of Oz, had to take all of its Oz references out, so the character of Glinda was replaced with Mayetta from Mo. Free food? No death? Cool monsters? You know, there's only one thing that could ever keep me from wanting to move to Mo over Oz, and that's that there's no books. The wisest creature in all of Mo is a donkey who got into the schoolhouse and ate all of the books over a weekend, becoming the wisest creature in Mo. Sorry, Magical Monarch, but they got books in Oz, so I'm headed that way.